Ooh, I see people. That is interesting. Okay. Okay, of course it won't work today. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Competitive Communicators, where you only compete with yourself. I'm Sunny Fridge, your Sergeant at Arms, and today we're going to just go through housekeeping rules. If you look to the bottom of the screen, especially if you're new, you will find that you have a mute button for your microphone, and that's where you can turn it on and off. And you should mute your phone if you are not speaking. You can turn your video on and off. There's the circle, and you can start your video and stop your video. And please click the stop video button when you need to take a break, make a phone call if you're eating or drinking or doing something we don't need to see. Over here is the chat. This is really important because it allows everyone to put a message in the meeting and find video instructions. You can type a message to everyone, or you can type a message to a specific person. This is last week's chat, a screenshot of last week's chat room, and you will also find in today's chat a link to the meeting agenda. And you also, additionally, in terms of talking to everyone, can talk to someone specifically. And if you look closely, you will see that you can talk to everyone or a person privately. And when you save your chat gets saved with your private messages, but not anyone else's. Our policy: by participating in our meeting, you agree that a recording will be available publicly on our YouTube channel, website, and other public media. Welcome again to Competitive Communicators, where you only compete against yourself. At this time, I'd like you to give a warm welcome, and since we can't always talk, this is the signal for giving someone a warm welcome, or when they've done something great. You can also do this as well, but our past president, Aaron, loves to see these fingers waving. So let us, at this point, wave our fingers and welcome Tricia Grow. Woohoo!
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to our club meeting, Competitive Communicators Online. We'll go around and introduce each one of our guests and members. And I would like a quick story about the moon. Something you like about the moon, something you dream about the moon, something you aspire to go to the moon for. Just something that you would like to, since today's meeting theme is the moon, and we are celebrating our 50th anniversary on the moon, having a human on the moon. So I would first ask our Toastmaster of the day, Sheryl, would you please introduce yourself?
Thank you, Madam President. Yes, I'm Sheryl Poirier. I come from Winnipeg, Manitoba. It happens that last night was a full moon where I live. And I started to think about the things people said about kids during a full moon when I was teaching. I have had at least 3 colleagues over the years who just swear with all of their being that teenagers simply got squirrelier and squirrelier the closer it came to a full moon, and were at their largest effort of misbehaving at the peak of a full moon. Back to you, Madam President.
Thank you so much. Next, I would like to call on our Sergeant at Arms, Sunny Fridge. Could you please introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. Again, I'm Sunny Fridge. I am your Sergeant at Arms. I've been a Toastmaster since 2015, and I'm over the moon that we are in another meeting, and this is still feeling like a new year to me, and hopefully I'll get a backdrop that actually has Neil Armstrong on the moon. I thought I had it, but I don't, but this is my picture at the moment. I didn't take it, but it's a beautiful picture. Back to you, Madam President.
Thank you so much. And one of my many friends in the nearby state of Maryland, May. May, would you please introduce yourself?
Hi, Madam President, fellow Toastmasters. This is May Han. I'm from Clarksville, Maryland. I have been search about the Apollo missions. Actually, I was interested in why people are more interested before on Apollo 13 instead of Apollo 11. So I figured out I need to know that. So I watched a movie, Apollo 13. It's about how the mission actually failed. They have to change to save the astronaut, and the 3 astronauts ride the small module, which was designed only for 2 astronauts. They finally safely come back to Earth during Apollo 13. But this week is the Apollo 11th anniversary. So I'm very glad we have this topic today. Back to you, Madam President.
Thank you so much. And one of our roving Toastmasters, Gerard. Gerard, would you please introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. My name is Gerard, and I am president in Tennessee, where we got to see a nice full moon also. Something magical about a full moon. I love sunrises and sunsets, but also full moon, especially when they pick on some color, bright orange or blue and whatnot. Love it. I also noticed that some people get squirrely with full moons, but I don't know if teenagers as much as women. Okay, just kidding. Thank you. Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you so much. And then another friend from Maryland, or at least the States, Isabel. Isabel, would you please introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. I'm Isabel from Maryland, Ellicott City, Maryland. Speaking of the moon, I think I haven't really looked at the moon for many years. So when I saw the moon picture behind from Sunny's background, I feel surreal. And I think I would never imagine myself walking on the moon. But when we watch fictionally science fiction movies, I also imagine to travel the universe. Well, back to you, Madam President.
Thank you very much. Matt Smiddle, would you please take a moment and introduce yourself and tell us something you like or dream about the moon?
Yes, Madam Toastmaster. My name is Matt Smiddle. I live in a small town in Georgia called Blairsville. And I think it would be pretty neat to go to the moon. But since I'm afraid of flying, I think the likelihood of me doing that is very slim. But I do think it would be very neat to be there and cool. Madam President.
Thank you very much. And our other roving Toastmaster, Adrian. Adrian, would you please introduce yourself and tell us where you are in the world?
I would love to. Hello, fellow Toastmasters, upcoming guests, and Madam Toastmaster. I am currently in Eastern Washington, and I think that my favorite story about the moon right now is I was listening to a news story about how Neil Armstrong's suit is going on display for, I think, the first time. And they were commenting about how his suit has barely, the outside of his suit has barely degraded, but the inside of his suit has degraded a lot. And what I found really fascinating other than that was there's still moon dust on his legs of his suit. Back to you, Madam President.
Thank you very much. And next guest, Dora Lee. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. Actually, I'm not a guest anymore. I have just joined.
Oh, well, congratulations. Yeah. Welcome. Yay. Our newest member then. Yay.
Yeah. I'm a dual member. My mother club is Guangzhou Toastmaster. And yes, and I live in Guangzhou. I'm going to give my icebreaker speech next week.
Yay!
Yeah. Speaking of the moon, I always think that romantic stories often happen under the moon. And if I can go to the moon sometime, I think that will be a very wonderful experience. Yes. Back to you, Madam President.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited that we have a new member. And our immediate past president, Aaron Leung, would you please introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, my name is Aaron, just testing my mic. I'm from Hong Kong, so related to the moon, the first thing that comes to my mind is mooncake. Since I'm a very hungry person and hungry for food, I always think about the mooncake, and there are different flavors about it. And the moon always give me the nice vibe that is like I can enjoy the moon and the mooncake at the same time. It doesn't mean that the cake comes from the moon. We have a specialized mooncake that we eat during the Mid-Autumn Festival. Back to you.
Thank you very much. And Harry from Las Vegas, would you like to introduce yourself?
Harry Johns from Las Vegas. Oh, wait a minute. Is my voice getting through?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Oh, all right. The moon. We know it's now a hollow sphere up there, and there's tunnels in there that are large enough to house entire cities, according to what we're learning on the Science Channel. And the surface can be creature-made, not man-made, obviously. There's just so much to learn about that. One of the weirdest things that I know from my medical experience is that because of the gravitational pull, the brain, the liquid in the brain has a definite effect on people. I mean, crazy people, once a month during a full moon, they want to act like doctors. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Harry. Well, I know I follow Elon Musk a lot, and I think in our lifetime, it might just be possible for us to visit the moon. But I like to dream that perhaps in my 80s or 90s, I could be on the moon. Just possibility. But now it is my pleasure to turn the meeting over to our Toastmaster of the day, our dear friend from the North, Sheryl Poirier. Please help me welcome Sheryl.
Thank you very much, Tricia, Madam President. When I was listening to all your introductions, I was thinking about the wide scope of items we talked about for the moon. The moon has been studied and enjoyed through myths, through legends, through song, through literature, through religion, and of course, through science. I believe there's still much we can learn about the moon, and I'm certain that we'll be talking about it as long as there are humans left to talk about it, whether we ever have a base on the moon and live there, or whether we simply look at it every night. I see Rolando has joined us. Would you like to give us a wave, Rolando?
Hello, everybody. My name is Rolando Goldman. I'm in Long Beach, Florida. I'm delighted to be here tonight.
Thank you.
Master.
So, with the theme, the moon, I hope to hear more about your thoughts on the moon tonight as we go through the meeting. Before we get too much further, I'd like to point out that why we do Toastmasters is we do it for better speaking through prepared speeches, for example. We use it also to help develop our thinking skills, particularly in items like table topics and evaluation. And of course, evaluations also involve improving our listening skills. And I quickly go through the agenda, please, because I want to make sure we're all on the same page. Our inspiration in a moment will come from Mei Han. Our awe counter and grammarian tonight is Tricia, who will be giving us a word of the day very shortly. Our body language monitor will be Adrian. Chat monitor is Matthew. The timer will also be Mai. Our only speaker so far is Isabel. Is there anyone else who would care to jump in and present a speech tonight?
If no one do, I can do that.
Is this instead of next week, Aaron?
No, that's for Dora. It's not for me next week. I can do a speech.
All right. Then we are also going to need an evaluator. And since Rolando is here, perhaps he'd be willing to evaluate Aaron's speech.
Sure, Madam Toastmaster.
All right. I love it when a plan comes together. Our general evaluator is Sunny, and our topics master is Isabel, even though she's also giving a speech. Apparently she's already prepared. How about that? And that, I think, oh yes, our evaluators are Rolando for Aaron and Aaron for Isabel. Have I missed anything? Is there any role missing? No, we're all good? Thank you. Then I will now like to call upon Mei Han to give us an inspiration. Mei.
Yes, I will. I will share my screen. Do you see it?
Yes, we see it.
Okay. Moon is human's inspiration for thousands of years. Many literature, poem has used moon as their topic. And on the right hand side of this my screen, you see a full moon, which is a picture taken by Apollo 11 spacecraft in 1969. But today I would like to share part of a poem from an old Chinese poet. His name is Su Shi. He uses moon as a metaphor to describe people meet and separate. It is rare is perfect happiness. The moon does wax, the moon does wane, and so men meet and say goodbye. I only pray our life be long and our souls together heavenward fly. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Mei. Now if you could stop sharing your screen.
Sure. What is it?
Well, mine, it shows up on the top where it says stop share.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I will move on.
Oh, I will do that for, but where's it?
Tricia, would you please explain the role of awe counter and as grammarian give us the word of the day? Help me welcome Tricia.
Thank you very much. So as an awe counter, it's my duty to listen for those unnecessary thought words where you're trying to connect your thoughts, but you can't quite get there. So instead of pausing, you say and, or, there, or another word that is unnecessary to your sentence that's helping you think. So my job is to notice when you do that and let you know what you tend to use. We all seem to have a crutch word. Mine is You might catch me doing that, but it's my job tonight to catch yours. In addition to that, I am also the grammarian to listen for good and not so good uses of the English language. If I hear a turn of phrase that I really enjoy, I will mark that down. And it's also my duty to share a word of the day. So I'm going to share my screen. and pull up, not that. My tab is not coming up. I apologize. One moment, please. The word of the day is launch. Launch is a verb. It is to set a boat or some other vehicle in motion by pushing it or launching it into water, or to set in motion such as a spacecraft. You launch a boat and you launch a spacecraft. It's also can be used as a noun, as an act or instance of launching something, such as a Toastmasters group. We launched this club just about 2 years ago, and we will soon enjoy our anniversary in our next meeting. So please attempt to add the word launch into your impromptu and prepared speeches, and I will diligently keep track of any instances I hear. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Madam President. Tricia. Yes, let's launch the rest of the meeting right now. I know it doesn't really make sense, but I'd like to have Adrienne please tell us how she will be watching our body language. Help me welcome Adrienne.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters, and welcome to guests. As body language monitor, I will be looking for your body language while we're recording, as well as how is your lighting in the background drops and things to that nature. At the end of the meeting, I typically give a report. However, tonight I need to leave early, so I will leave my report in the chat. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Adrienne. Another thing we have a member to watch for, unusual in most of my experience, is our chat monitor. Tonight it is Matthew Smidle. Help me welcome Matt.
Madam Toastmaster, as chat monitor, I will be monitoring the chat throughout the meeting, making note of any questions, and just watching the general flow of the chat. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Matt. And now to show us how she will be marking the passage of time, May, would you please join us back up here on the screen? Let's welcome May again.
Hi, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. As a timer, I will watch how much time you use during your speech, and I give you reminders and help you to finish on time. For the prepared speech, you'll have 5 to 7 minutes. For the table topics, you'll have 1 to 2 minutes. And for the evaluation speech, you'll have 2 to 3 minutes. So when you meet the minimum requirement, you'll see this green card. And then you will see this yellow card. When you meet the maximum time, you'll see this green, this red card, and then you have 30 seconds to finish your speech. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, May. Now that everyone knows what to watch for while they're speaking, let's welcome our speakers. Now on the agenda, we had an open spot first. I'm going to just ask Aaron, are you ready to go first, or would you like Isabel to go first?
I think Isabel can go first.
Okay, so we'll reverse the order on your agenda then. Isabel then will be our first speaker. She is working on Innovative Planning Level 5, Leading in Your Volunteer Organization. Now, Isabel has been in multiple officer positions in 2 Toastmasters clubs. Serving in these volunteer leadership roles is very different from positions and leadership in a workplace. She wants to sorry, I've lost my voice. She wants to share her learning experience in this speech titled Serving as an Officer. Her speech time, May, is 5 to 7 minutes. So it'll be yellow at 5 and red at 7. And her evaluator tonight is Erin Leung. And I hope, Erin, you have received the correct evaluation form. If everyone is ready, I'm very excited to hear the speech. Please help me welcome Isabel Kadoorie.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and esteemed guests. What do you think of if you were asked to take an officer position in Toastmasters? First and foremost, I would think about serving the members. I would question myself whether I can do a good job as an officer. Then I will worry about how much time it takes to fulfill the duty. That's the part that makes me feel stressed out. Lastly, I would think about my personal growth by working as a leader. I have been in different officer positions in 2 clubs. I was VP of membership first. I also acted as VP PR. Then I worked as VP of education, and I also performed some duties as a treasurer. And now I'm VP PR again in this club. In the very beginning, I sort of stumbled into an officer position. It was back in 2015. I was a member of a local Toastmaster club. The club president then, Sheryl, called me and asked if I would like to run for VP of membership. I had no idea how the club operates from an officer point of view and had no desire to be part of the committee. I felt much more comfortable to remain in the member group. Nevertheless, after Sheryl talked to me, I was a little intrigued. Still, I was thinking, who would vote for me to become an officer? I was a terrible speaker. I would certainly scare all the potential new members away. It turned out I was the only nominee for VP membership. I understood that without those who volunteer to lead, the organization would like to fail. So I felt like I was called for the duty. I kept my finger crossed and hoped for the best. I tried my best to perform the VPM duties. I thought some guests might have been scared away. Some others stayed and joined the club because we have all those other wonderful members. I mechanically performed my duty. I read the officer manual provided by Toastmasters International, and I did the task according to the manual. But by the end of my term, I saw the results. It wasn't too bad. We had 12 new members. So this experience boosted my confidence in leadership. Still, I felt tired after serving a year. I needed more time to myself. So I took a break from the club management. Then a year later, my next challenge was to become a VPE. At the time, same thing, nobody else wanted to become VP of education. And the former club president asked me to take this responsibility. He told me that you understand how the club operates. He can trust the club in my hands. So I took the position. This was a position that requires more skills, and I learned more from this position. I learned that we need respect and take care of our members, and also care for the club as a whole. And sometimes by taking care of our members means as a leader, I have to stand up for what's right. It seems for Toastmasters Club, such a benign organization, it's kind of unimaginable what kind of conflict it might be, but it did happen during my term. I remember that my club president once called me. He said, "Hey, you got to remove this guy from taking evaluator role because he hasn't done enough speech yet. And he pointed to the manual. The manual says it's recommended that you complete a certain speech before you take an evaluator role. However, I told him, no, we cannot do that because this member did not sign up a role first, and there is no other small roles left for him, and nobody wants to take an evaluator, and I already persuaded him to take a evaluator role. Now I go back to him and ask him to remove himself. That will seriously hurt his self-confidence, and it will be very discouraging for him. And I also told him this recommendation is not a mandatory, and in consider of our current club situation, we lost many more experienced members. We have many new members, but not much. We have a few very senior members, and not many mid-level members to fulfill this role. So we have to change the process according to our membership structure. And it turned out he had done something wrong before. He had told another member that she should not take an evaluator role because she did not do enough speech. So she tried to be consistent on his end without thinking about the whole club as a whole. But I stood firm, and I, even though he was annoyed at me, but I presented my argument in front of other committee members, and I got support from the rest of the committee. So that was one of the difficult moments I have to go through, but I thought I did the right thing. And because when the time I took over the officer role, we've been losing a lot of members. So in order to retain the members, I sort of pushed the members really hard to sign up the roles. And even though that's not, I did not force them, but I did call them frequently, have them sign up the role. So by keeping all the members engaged, we were able to retain more members. And in that way, we groomed the new member, and some of them become officers quickly in a matter of several months. And in fact, the newly elected president was a new member in that period of time. So the leadership skills I learned over the years have benefited me in many ways. I'm much more confident in working with different people. I was able to expand my horizon. And when I'm planning to run a gavel club, I feel I have an inner circle. I knew many Toastmasters personally. I know who I can trust, and some of them, I see them as my friends. In summary, it has been a great experience for me to serve as a leader in Toastmasters. I hope my story also inspire you to involve more in volunteer organizations. Volunteer organizations offer more opportunities for us to learn and to practice your skills and to test your potentials. By serving others, you can reach a much higher level of yourself that you would otherwise not be able to. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Isabel. As many of you may have gathered from her speech, and because I forgot to mention it, the purpose of the speech was to report on her experience as a leader in a volunteer organization, and she chose, of course, Toastmasters. Isabel, I'd like to say about the volunteer organizations, I heard a Canadian astronaut on the news today in an interview who talked about his time as commander of the space station. He said he used all the skills he learned in Boy Scouts and in cadets and in school and other organizations, I can't really remember them all, when he became the commander of the International Space Station. So volunteer organizations such as ours can definitely develop great leaders. I would now like to give everyone 1 minute to give their comments in the chat. May, will you signal us when 1 minute is up?
One minute is up.
Thank you, everyone, for your comments that you've sent either publicly or privately through the chat. And in case people didn't know, you can save those comments by saving the chat. There's a little button you just have to click. It's pretty easy. Our next speaker is none other than our immediate past president, Aaron Leung. Now, Aaron tries to launch things before they're really ready. I have seen this. And he usually succeeds where other people would not. Aaron's speech today is called Rainy or Shiny, and I'm pretty sure it's not about our member Rainy, but we'll move on from that. It's a level 3 project from understanding vocal variety from the 12th path. Now, all of you in the know may understand we have 11 paths. You see what I mean by Aaron launching things ahead of time? It is a path that he tells me is coming soon. The purpose of his speech is to practice using vocal variety to enhance a speech on any topic. His evaluator is Rolando. Rolando, do you have everything you need? Just let me know only if you need something else. No, it's good. You're good. And the speech will be 5 to 7 minutes, the same as Isabel's speech. So it is launched well ahead of time speech from the 12th path coming soon. Help me welcome Aaron with Rainy or Shiny.
Fellow Toastmaster, most distinguished guests. Now, everyone, close your eye for a bit, just only for a couple of seconds. Close your eyes and start feeling your internal weather. When I say internal weather, meaning that is it warm in your heart? Is it cold, freezing cold? Or is it simply raining in there? Or is it just normal? When I say normal, meaning it's natural greenery, you can enjoy your nice picnic there. Now, everyone slightly open your eyes a bit and start to realize that there is an internal weather within your whole contextual thought. What do you mean by that? It means that every day we are carrying out with loads of positivity or negativity, depending on what we think. Just for example, I happen to see a beggar on the street waiting for you to donate the same penny that he was looking for. You can choose either you donate it or don't donate it or rob him of his money. You have 3 choices. Obviously, the 4th one is to run away. But then you have different thoughts of what is carrying on in your mind. You might start to think that, wow, the society now is really, really improving, and why are there still beggars? Or you may think about it in a different way and say that, I hate this person. This person is obstructing me in the streets and then basically begging me I do not want to donate with him at all. But this simple instance are just the beginning, because you eventually end up in work or in college life, happy college life, or university life, whereby you have different scenarios that affects your emotions. But think about it. Your emotions only you can tell yourself, not anyone else. How many of you actually share your emotions openly to your friends, meaning you tell 100% of everything you do? Raise your hand. I'm sure that everyone is actually protective of themselves, because the internal weather, rainy or shiny, is only up to you. It's not because of rainy that inspires me to do a speech today, but it's really about the matter that everyone has an internal weather that only they can harness it. I've seen many people break down because of this weather. I've broken down myself before. Recently, a member of mine in one of the other clubs, her dad actually went away. I mean, like, disappeared from from her brother's house. And I discovered her news too late in WeChat. I simply messaged her and said, when do you last see your dad? Ask inquiries of questions about what a president will ask a member would do. I checked, it took 2 months, etc. Her dad was pronounced dead, like, after 2 months. Because there happened to be an accident during that time. If I had been able to just check her WeChat news maybe a day or two earlier on, I might be able to utilize my resources to find her dad. But different scenarios, this tiny, tiny scenarios, build up your internal weather that one day you may break apart or you might be successful. I have a friend called Tom. He was a very emo kid. He never trusts anyone because he do not know how to open it up himself. And then we actually tried to talk with people and say, hi, my name is Tom, what's yours? People think he's retarded because of his communication skills. Maybe Toastmasters should be in the secondary schools way before time. But slowly, steadily, he started to improve on himself. He started to chat, he started to inspire people. His internal weather started from a rainy moment because no one cared about him to a very shining moment whereby he becomes a natural leader among his team because he starts to build on his communication skills. It's you who decide what weather you want today. Today's weather forecast is rainy. Are you going to depend on that rainy weather to make your life better or worse? I also share my encounters. I have my rainy moments, and my rainy moments has been long time, long before I met Rainy. And because of the time whereby of my emo downsides of losing girlfriends, I start to see the situation of I feel alone again. I definitely need to focus on my life, focus on my work. Although I'm able to logically overcome that barrier, my internal weather was rainy and flooding with drought. I couldn't even make it through for the next day. All I did is just putting on a fake smile. Just like this. Every day. 365 days. But people can see your weather just from your facial expressions. They will care about you. Your weather, although you don't like to share with others, but I highly recommend that you can share a little, bit by bit. Because the weather, you can't control it. It's there because it's your true feelings. But when people help you to add some pepper, salt, all these different elemental situations to your weather, you're able to overcome that storm and become a shining you. the shining you of who you are right now. Just like we are being an online Toastmasters. We have Sheryl and Sunny giving us lots of backdrops with lots of moon-related themes. It's about who you really are that changes the perception of others. When you're starting to blame yourself that today I'm going to feel really, really bad, think again. Your weather can be changed once you can tell the others and share your thoughts. Be the shining you of overcoming the storm because you know that you deserve better. You deserve a happy weather every single day in your life because wasting a moment in the rain is just doesn't make your life feel any better. So that's the end of my speech. I'll pass the stage back to you.
Thank you so much, Aaron. Now, I've listened to Aaron talk about his emotions a few times, so he's setting a great example of how to share those emotions as he talked about in his speech. I really appreciated your unique take on it. Another bad thing about rainy weather is, of course, you cannot see the moon because it will be hidden by the clouds. No, I didn't have to think too hard to use that, just because it's clouding over where I live now. Thank you so much. And I would like May to give us another minute for evaluations in the chat box. Please, May.
One minute is up.
Thank you, May. It is now the time to launch the best part of the meeting in the opinion of many people, including myself. And that is our impromptu speaking session. Our table topics master today is Isabel. Isabel, would you please share with us how we're going to run this session and then take over the virtual lectern? Help me welcome Isabel.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. This is a session we practice thinking on our feet and speaking off the cuff. I have 10 questions, and I would like, when I call a member, I would like you to give me a number. Then I will read a question from the 10 cards I have. The table talk speech is supposed to be 1 to 2 minutes, and so let's get started. First question, may I call Toastmaster Gerard? Gerard, would you please pick a number?
8. Number 8.
Number 8. Number 8, what's your favorite thing to do in your spare time? Gerard, what's your favorite thing to do in your spare time?
How about number 7? I'm only kidding. My favorite thing to do in my spare time is to explore and learn new things. So for the last year, since I've been able to travel, most of my exploring has been out in nature and seeing waterfalls and streams and beaches that I haven't been able to for the first 3/4 of my life. But also in the spare time, I'll do that as far as learning, I'm always curious about human behavior, why we act, why we do. Much like Aaron's speech, which I love, by the way, knowing that we have control over our own feelings. A lot of people don't realize that. So I love that topic also. Exploring nature, exploring why I act the way I act, why people act the way they act, and just a little bit of Netflix thrown in. Okay, thank you. Back to you, Madam Topic.
Thank you, Gerard, for sharing your pastime activity. You have a lot of very healthy habit, I would say. Our next question I would like to call Rainy Shiny. Toastmaster Shiny. Would you please give me a number?
Number 5.
Okay, number 5. Question number 5 is, who is your role model? Who is your role model?
Oh my God. I think my role model, I think there are many people.
Toastmaster Rainy, would you please adjust your microphone? We can hardly hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, it's good enough.
Okay. I think there are many people who are my role models, like my boss, my managers, and like Isabel, like Aaron, Sheryl. I think you are all my role models. I think everyone has something of like very some of his advantages that I really want to learn. For example, like Aaron, he's a really great speaker, and I really want to learn speaking skills from him. And for Isabel, I think you have you work very hard, and I can see that you are attending the dubbing applications every day. And I really want to have that kind of endeavor like you. I want to have that endeavor like you. And for my bosses and my managers in my workplace, I think they're very intelligent, and they're very smart. When they're making presentations or business plans, they're very professional. And in the professional field, I really want that someday I could be someone like them. So I think there are something that I can learn from everyone, and the key thing is to find the thing that you want to learn from others, either from your friend or from your even from your parents. I think there's something. So I think the key thing is to discover the beauty or the advantages from others and learn from them. Back to you, Isabel.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shiny. You can see the strengths in many different people. That's a very useful leadership skill. The third question I would like to call Toastmaster Harry Jones. Harry, would you please give me a number from 1 to 10? Harry, are you there? Okay, I will come back to you, Harry. Would like to call Dora. Dora, could you please give me a number? Dora, please unmute yourself. Can you repeat your number?
7.
7?
Yeah.
7 has been taken. Can I give you 8?
Okay.
Okay, number 8. What's your weirdest dream you ever had? Do you dream? What is the weirdest dream you ever had?
The widest dream I have.
Weirdest?
Weird or widest?
It's been like strange dream.
Okay. I think once I have dreamed of going to play the parachute. Yeah. I have always wanted to want to have that experience. I think it's very exciting, and I think it's a must do in my lifetime. Yeah, imagine that you are on the top of the mountain, and you can see all the beautiful city and scenery down there, and you put up the courage and just jump down. You can feel the air pass. You can feel the air pass through your ears, and you can feel the strength of the wind when you jump down that mountain. Yeah, I think it's I think that's the widest experience I want to have. Thank you.
Thank you. That's a very interesting dream. I guess I would be too scared to skydiving. I see Toastmaster Harry Jones is back. Harry, would you please pick a number?
1 or 2.
1 or 2. Do you want me to pick a question for you?
Sure, make it a tough one.
Okay. What's your favorite restaurant? What will you order when you go to that restaurant? Is it a tough one?
On my income, it's quite easy. My favorite restaurant has to be Taco Bell. It's easy to get into. I don't have to make many decisions, and I can get out of there for $2 or less.
Would you like to share more about your favorite?
Yeah, I get to, yes, I get to enter some numbers in my cell phone. Then I get a code number for my next trip to the counter. And then I walk back up after I've got a couple of tacos and get a discount on a full meal. That's my easiest way to handle my economic situation. And that is why it's probably my favorite restaurant in town. I don't have to pay a lot of money, and I get to chow down with something that's reasonably okay. I have nothing great to say. That was too tough of a question. Next time, give me an easy one.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing your choice of fast food. Next question, I would like to call Rolando. Toastmaster Rolando, would you please give me a number?
Number 3, Madam Deputy Master.
Okay. Question number 3. Have you ever taken a risk? What was the biggest risk you've taken? Toastmaster Rolando.
Madam Deputy Master, fellow Toastmaster, and most welcome guests. Have I ever taken a risk? Yes, I've taken a risk, but I'm not a big risk taker. I know that for a fact because I like to go places that I know. I like to know my environment. But lately, I've been trying to take on more risks. And most of the time, I was scared of taking risks because of the unknown. If I step out of my comfort zone, what am I gonna find? What's gonna happen to me? What are people gonna think about me? But I realized that I can't really live for people. I have to live for myself. So if I feel like doing something, I should just try it and see what happens. As long as I'm not violating any laws or I'm not hurting anybody, why not taking some risks, right? So I've taken risks along the way in my career because I had to take them in order for me to move up. In my personal life, I was a little bit more careful. And now I said, let me take a risk. And last year, I eventually got married, and that was a big risk for me. Back to you, Madam Topic Master.
Toastmaster Rolando, I believe you are wise man and you take smart risks. Well, in the interest of time, we conclude the table topic session, and this moment, I will return the control back to our Toastmaster of the day, Sheryl.
Thank you so much, Isabel, for an enlightening table topic session where we got to learn a little bit more about several of our members, including our newest member. The reason Toastmasters is one of the most successful communication education organizations in the world is due to our unique evaluation style and the immediacy of our evaluations. I'd like to turn control of the meeting now over to our General Evaluator of the Day, Sunny Fridge. Please help me welcome Sunny.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day, Sheryl. I couldn't agree with you more. This is a really important part of the 3 parts of our meeting. And I've asked this question before, but for those of you who may not know, I usually say, what is the shortest word in the dictionary that has 7 letters? And the answer is, and it has A, B, C, D, E, F. And the answer is feedback. Feedback is so important, and that's what this session is all about. I'd like to launch it with our speech evaluators. Our first speech was done by Isabel Kadoorie. She is being evaluated by Toastmaster Aaron Leung. Let's give a hand for Toastmaster Aaron Leung.
Thank you very much, Sunny, for introducing me. It's my honor to be evaluating Isabel since the start of her journey in Toastmasters. Always great to see how Sunny can improve and change her into a very, very great speaker now. Now, the topic and objective of her speech is focusing on her experience through that 6 months leadership part in any organization she chooses. And no surprise, she picked Toastmasters. And no surprise, she reminded me of one core value, that Toastmasters is a voluntary organization. I totally forgot about that. But now is a time whereby it makes us feel really, really nice, is that she shares us with stories that relates to her. You can see that it's authentic, that true feelings, and most importantly, the encounters, the struggles. You can feel it along the way that her speech goes. And as she goes along into it, I was looking forward to a couple of things. Let's focus on the checklist, that what she has done well. She focused on composure. The stories were fantastic. At least shows the struggles and how she overcomes it. Now that's a good take. Now the second thing is, I would love to see how this story is related to your growth, because it shows reflection of how you grow from it. You wrap up with a conclusion that shows that improvement. Now, the challenge for you would be, if I were you, I might have put every single experience or mini stories with something like this. I encountered a member that always talk about Toastmaster rules. And I always hate that because I'm not a rule-based person. However, this experience taught me patience and perseverance. Now, if you put some adjectives that actually summarize that nice little encounter of every story or every sharings that you do, it gives us a nice re-kick. By the end of by the end of your speech, you can repeat these adjectives to sum up all your sharing scenarios. So my challenge for the first thing is use abbreviations that highlight the different elements in growth. Now, 2 is, I would love to see how you really change from it. If you were given a task again as a VPE or VPM, what would you have done differently? Now, this is like a call for action. It's like showing us examples of what you could have done better if you return back in time. This is this is a call factor and showing how much you have improved, rather than just showing with abbreviation or summary, but showing you how you demonstrated that you have the expertise now. If you're able to do that, yes, you have overcome that challenge and obviously scored with a perfect A. The final challenge for Isabel is that sometimes for sharing, try to relax a bit. I mentioned quite a bit before. Sometimes when you're doing a speech, you tend to be pretty tensed up, like very strict, professional. But sometimes it'd be great to loosen up because it's like a personal sharing, like a friend sharing with another friend. So that challenge would be to be much more warmer in terms of using the words in a very comforting sense, or do it with actions like what I'm doing right now. That brings us closer to your speech. That's the end of my evaluation, and back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Aaron Leung, for that evaluation of Isabel Kadoorie. Our second speaker was Aaron Leung, and he was evaluated by Orlando. Orlando, please take the stage. Let's give him a hand.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, most welcome guests, especially Aaron. Aaron, we can tell that our Toastmaster Aaron is an advanced Toastmaster, and I learn from him every time he speaks. Aaron stepped up to the plate. He didn't have to speak tonight, but he just volunteered. I have a speech in my pocket. I wish I can do that sometime, just speaking up the cuff and give a speech. And I'm learning to do that. One day I'll surprise Aaron and do that. Aaron caught our attention by asking us to close our eyes. When he asks us that forces us to pay attention to him. So even if you are doing something else, you are sleeping or you are writing, you are doing something, you have to pay attention to him. Watching Aaron giving his speech with so much enthusiasm, the way he carries himself. I'm watching Aaron. Aaron's always, throughout his speeches, I watch him always doing hand gesture online, and that's something I'm still learning from him. And every time I watch him, he does that. And I have to remember, keep my hands up, and I watch him do it. Aaron also look at the camera. I can see his eyes all the time. Great eye contact. And he even threw in a story in his speech by talking about his friend Tom. With all this being said, what can Aaron improve on? Well, like I said again, Aaron is an advanced Toastmaster. There was not much that I could see. But the speech, one of the speech goals was to understand vocal variety. I felt like there could have been a little bit more vocal variety, especially at the beginning. I saw vocal variety in the last 2-3 minutes of the speech. But in the first couple minutes, I would have liked to see a little bit more vocal variety. But the thing that I really liked the most, Aaron made a call to action for us. He gave us a call to action. He says to build your internal heart, your internal weather by making your heart shiny. Especially that's talking to me, because especially us, men, I feel like we don't open up enough. We don't show our emotions enough. So that got to me by telling me that open myself and be vulnerable and build up your internal heart. Thank you, Aaron, for speaking. I always learn from you every day. You speak so well. Back to you, and I'm the evaluator.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Rolando, for that evaluation. We all learn from Aaron and you. Now it's time to have our reports. Teamwork makes the dream work. I'd like to call on my helpers. First up will be our odd counter grammarian, Trisha. Trisha, Give us your report.
Thank you very much. Actually, very few crush words tonight. For Isabel, I only caught 2 so's and 1 ah in your speech, and didn't catch anything during table topics. So very, very good. Erin, I really liked your phrase internal weather. Sheryl gets kudos for using the word of the day the most. She used it 3 times. She launched us right off the beginning of the meeting with the word of the day, so I appreciate that. I didn't catch anyone else, but if you did say it, please accept my apologies. I did not catch it. During topics, Gerard, you checked every single possible catchphrase. You said 1 so, 1 ah, 1 as, and 2 ums. So if you were trying to hit the gamut of words, you succeeded. But not too many. So variety, but not so many. So good job. Rainy or sunny, or shiny, sorry. That's renamed ourselves. You had 3 ahs, 1 like, and you used the word endeavor, which I really appreciated. It's a wonderful word. Rolando, you used the phrase step out of my comfort zone. I appreciate that. I think we should all attempt to do that. It's scary, but very fulfilling. And Erin, you said authentic, 1 ah, and I already stated your internal weather. But overall, I thought our grammar was excellent tonight. Very few ahs, ums, and some good turns of phrases, even though we didn't really use launch, other than Sheryl. Back to General Evaluator.
Thank you, Madam Counter Grammarian. Now it's time for our body language monitor report, which is left in the chat. Very quickly, Adrienne left us some key points. She loved Isabel's wonderful speech, great use of pauses rather than fuller words, make sure I'm reading the right thing. Body language report. Lighting was great for all the screens. Those who have the capability of using pictures for their background all look great. And there was a nice touch with adding background pictures with the meeting theme, and everyone was clearly seen during our meeting. So thank you belatedly to Adrienne. Next, we'll have our chat monitor, Matt Smittle. Matt?
Madam General Evaluator, the chat flowed very well tonight. There were 2 to 3 questions that were asked, and they were answered promptly by somebody. I'm glad you read the body language monitor report, because at the same time that report was posted, there were a bunch of other comments posted, and it may have gone lost with some people. I had to scroll up myself to read her report, so I'm glad you read that. Everything else was good. Everything flowed well tonight in the chat. Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Matt Smittle, Toastmaster Smittle. Our time is always important. Toastmasters are known for starting their meetings and ending their meetings on time. We do that with the help of a timer. Mayhan, please give us your report.
Hi, everyone. Madam General Evaluator. In order to time everybody and listen to everybody's speech, I need to launch 2 clocks. One as a timer, one as a stopwatch. So the timer gives me the minimum time so I can concentrate at least 5 minutes or 2 minutes or 1 minute. So that's my trick. Today, every speaker, I really like everybody's speech, and I learned a lot from Isabel's speech. In terms of time, everybody used most of it. And Isabel used 8 minutes and 31 seconds. Aaron used 7 minutes 30 seconds. For table topics, speakers, Gerard used 1 minute and 6 seconds. Shiny or Rainy, you used 1 minute 30 seconds. Dora used 1 minute 5 seconds. And Harry used 1 minute 10 seconds. Rolando used 1 minute 40 seconds. For the evaluation speech, Aaron used 3 minutes 39 seconds. Rolando used 3 minutes 34 seconds. I'm a little bit strict today, I guess. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Madam Timer. And as we listen to that report, it would be good for us to know whether we were over the limit, under the limit, and how we might look at that the next time that we have a chance to speak. So thank you for that. That's actually part of my overall evaluation. We started on time. That's always a wonderful thing. There was a little bit of confusion about filling roles today, but people stepped up to the plate as you always do. We're thankful for that. And I'm going to turn it back over to Madam President. I've got to get that poll ready to launch. Back to you, Madam President.
Thank you very much, Sunny. Thank you, everyone who was able to come and participate in tonight's meeting. I would like everyone to unmute themselves and welcome to the club our brand new member, Dora. Please help me welcome Dora to the club. Yay!
Woo-hoo!
We welcome you, Dora, and if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. We're more than glad to assist you in your journey, and we're glad to count you as part of our team. I don't believe we have any actual guests then tonight, so congratulations are all members here. That means you have to invite a friend. So that next week when we're celebrating our anniversary, invite a friend. If you were having a birthday party, you would invite your friends over, right? So let's all invite a friend and see if we can have some guests next week to hear our wonderful stories and things that have happened to us over the last 2 years as competitive communicators. Is our poll ready?
Somehow, Madam Toastmaster Day, it looks like the poll I edited last week's poll. I did a poll today, had it all ready, and I'm going to double check to make sure I didn't put it in our other meeting place. If not, it was deleted because
Okay.
I had it ready when we came on. So I'm not sure if Aaron can go ahead and take a look at the back office, but let's see. Okay.
Oh, yes.
There it is. All right, I did it right somehow. Praise God. Hallelujah. This is over the moon. Okay, everyone, go ahead and do the poll, except for anyone who's a host, right?
Yes, anyone who's a co-host will not be able to vote, but we can still send our thoughts to Sunny, and she can include them if there's a tiebreaker.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you. So there we have it. I wonder where you launch it. I'm going to have to look at specifically why I couldn't see it. Aaron did teach me, though.
Well, we're going ahead and completing the poll. I would go ahead and reach out. I believe that we still have room for additional stories, testimonials, or other bits of stories that you would like to share for next week on our anniversary. So share with us what Competitive Communicators has done for you in your personal life, in your professional life, any story that you would like to share. I'll be sharing some stories. I'm sure you've heard these stories before, but my thought is that we can use this as a dual purpose. One, to celebrate our anniversary, and two, as a testimonial for our Facebook page. So be able to click, our guests can click on it and hear all the wonderful stories and be intrigued and want to come check out our club.
Sounds like a plan. Let's see. Is it just me, or is Rolando's head kind of moving like another speed, an extra speed? Is it me? Did no one else notice that?
I did notice his internet is lagging or something? Or he seems to be a super fast motion and then really slow. So I've noticed that as well. I just thought it was his connection.
Yes, this is what's happening to me right now.
Unless he has a superpower that he just hasn't shared with us.
That's right. Superpower sounds like that. Let's see.
Sonny, this is what's happening to me. My CPU usage right now is at 90%. I launched too many instances of Chrome browser, so I cannot close the browser. If I close the browser, I'm gonna lose you guys. So I have to stick with it throughout the meeting.
That's funny. Yes, there you go again. It's like you're fast.
I thought it was Rolando's webcam was shaking sometimes.
Is the sound okay?
Yes,
you sounded good.
Hear you very clearly. It's just the video is a little strange. But we can just pretend you're Bruce Lee and that you're a little ahead of you.
I clicked too many times on the Chrome browser, so I have like 30 copies going on right now.
Okay, I'm going to end the poll in 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8. And if hopefully anyone who wanted to vote, they have voted. So here we go, ending the poll. And now, Mr. Aaron, share results. There it is, right there. This is awesome. My first time doing the poll. I thought I couldn't do it. This is easy. Yay. And here are our winners. Go ahead, Madam President.
Yes, thank you.
Sorry.
That's okay. I wasn't sure if you were going to read them or not.
I know, right?
I overstepped my boundary. In any case, thank you all, everyone. We had 100%. Everyone thought that we had an amazing meeting. I am in total agreement. Thank you all. We couldn't make this meeting happen without you, but I'm so glad that everyone would have a good time. And our favorite prepared speaker, 100%, Isabel Kadoorie. Yay! And I'm carrying on our immediate past president's operandi. I will ask Isabel to share a thought or two about her winning title tonight.
Oh, thank you. I think, well, even though I got 100%, actually there are only 4 people voted. I don't know what happened to other members. I guess thank you for all the people that voted me. I think you voted me just because you love me and you want me to keep improving. Thank you. Back to you, Madam President.
Yes, we do love you, but we do also feel that you were excellent. You shared stories, and your speaking skills are definitely improving. So we're just helping you realize that yourself sometimes. On to our table topic speaker. Our favorite speaker was Rolando. Yay! Thank you, Rolando. Would you please share with us your thoughts on winning the table topic speaker role?
Sure. Am I shaking? My head. I'm sorry. Yes, so I look forward to coming to the meeting. I enjoy the meeting so much, and I enjoy the topics question. Isabel always has great questions. I was happy to see that that she was the table topic master, and I always try to make it here every week. But sometimes things come up, work and stuff. I can't make it. But I always look forward to table topics to be able to express myself and share my thoughts with you guys, you fellow Toastmasters. And I enjoy the meeting, and I'm going to keep coming. Sometimes I may be a little late. I'm sorry. Sometimes work keeps me. So, but I'm going to try to show up and be here every week so I can participate with you guys. I enjoy your all company. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Rolando. We appreciate you being here, and you always are willing to jump in whenever you're needed, and we would love to have you as a speaker if you want to put yourself as second or third speaker. So if that is the case that you're late, we will do that for you. So please feel free to put yourself down for a speaker. We'll make sure that you're second or third, so that if you're a little late, it won't affect anything. On to our favorite facilitator. Well, this was no surprise. Our favorite facilitator was our Toastmaster of the day, Sheryl Poirier. Please share your thoughts, Sheryl, on being our favorite facilitator.
All I have to say, Madam President, is in a club like this, where people are so prepared for their roles, are so ready to jump in, it's the easiest job in the world. And I would really like to thank May for the theme today. She emailed me and reminded me that this was the anniversary of the first human on the moon. And she also said, how about we see what else people bring up about that particular astronomical object in the sky. So thank you, May. I think you made this meeting what it really was because of that great theme suggestion. Back to you, Madam President.
Thank you. Yes, I would like to reiterate that feeling of when Sheryl shared the meeting theme with myself. I was like, oh my gosh, that is a wonderful idea. And then we had our two Toastmasters with the moon and their background. It really helped set that theme even further into the meeting. So thank you for your idea. And thank you all for participating. We can go ahead and stop the recording. And Dora had a question.